Welcome back, everyone, to Phil's Recap and Review. Today, it's the History Buffs discussion with Nick Hodges. I am here today with a very special guest, Nick Hodges from the History Buffs, to talk all about his channel, talk about his experiences on the set of Vikings, and just get a little silly and bullshit a little bit with very good guy, Nick. But yes, welcome, everyone. And if you want to get involved in the discussion, you can jump into the live motherfucking chat right now and start sharing your thoughts in the chat and get your questions together. And towards the end, we're going to open it up and ask Nick a bunch of questions and stuff and completely annoy him and make him feel not welcome and like he never, ever, ever wants to come back. Fuck that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
okay, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, what did you get yourself into? But everyone, welcome here. If people haven't or do not know about History Buffs, I'm going to show a little picture of the YouTube page. Please go over to History Buffs and give Nick a subscription. What History Buffs does, they take historical movies or some television shows and other historical content and kind of give you a perspective on how accurate it is. But it's not just that. It's not as simple as this is historically accurate, this isn't. When a movie's shit, Nick will call it shit. When it's a good movie and not historically accurate, he'll point that out too, but he dives way deep. It's like you're going to a class. You're learning a lot when you watch a History Buffs video. So if anyone hasn't checked out that channel, definitely check out that channel. But thank you so much, Nick, for joining us today. So much so appreciative of you. I can't even talk, dude. See, I'm starstruck.
It's okay. No, don't start with the whole starstruck thing. Come on.
I got your balls in my mouth, Nick, before the show. I'm juggling Nick's balls in my mouth. But I've been a fan of Nick for a while, so it's good to actually have him on the show. So, Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for inviting me onto your show. I've been looking forward to this.
No, me too. I've been looking forward to completely tongue bath you over, treat you like I'm a kitty cat cleaning you and kissing every inch of your body. No, but I am a big fan of Nick. I also am a fan of Nick from something called the Loading Bar and Rage Select 2, which we'll get into that as well. But before we get too far down that road, how I initially met up with Nick is Carmine from Red Team Review, who's a big friend of the show. He was on a lot of our Game of Thrones reviews. I was doing some thumbnail work for him for a while, and he was getting done with me. He's like, "I'm done with you, pig." No, and at the same time, he was interacting and had contact with Nick, and he was Nick. He's a history buff himself and really into history. So he got into Carmine got into Nick's channel. So they sort of connected the two of us while saying, you talk to him. And I remember sending Nick an email that was like, I'll work for free, Nick. How can I help you out? And we sort of connected, and I help him out sometimes on some of his thumbnails and stuff too. But I had a huge realization of worlds colliding when I realized Nick is actually someone I had listened to before. But Nick, why don't you talk a little bit, or if you can, talk a little bit about History Buffs and the foundation of it, how you came up with the concept of something like History Buffs.
Okay. Let's see if I can. It's been quite a while, actually. I came up with the idea of History Buffs like 2 years before I started the channel, and it was because I had finished working for another company called Spill.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that. I tried to find work like the traditional way, going to film studios and giving you a CV, trying to work for free even. No one was having any of that. And so I thought like, okay, if can't find work the traditional way, I'll do it. I'll see if I can make work sort of happen. So I thought I could try YouTube, since I have some experience in doing podcasts and reviews and stuff like that before. And then I thought, what would it be about? And the thing is, a lot of film reviews on YouTube, they're all opinion based, and I realized that there weren't any that reviewed historical movies, and I thought that could be my niche, like a very specific thing that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in. Because every time I would watch a historical film, I'd always be fascinated to find out how much of it was accurate, how much of it was based on the true story, and I thought that could be something challenging and exciting to do.
No,
So,
that was a really good idea. I mean, just simply from the fact of, I remember watching a movie like Braveheart, for instance, and we'll get into Mel Gibson a little bit later. But watching the movie Braveheart, and initially finding out for the first time after I'd saw that movie, which at the time, watching it the first time, I, like a lot of people, really loved that movie, and I still have an affinity for it in some levels.
Of course,
Jew hate and all. I still have an affinity for Mel Gibson's work, but ultimately, I remember the first time I found out that the princess, the French princess, was a child at the time that William Wallace really existed. That was the first. I go, wait a minute, how does that make sense? And it sort of started me down that road. So it was something I think a lot of us ask a lot of questions about just in general. So I think you definitely found a really awesome niche. Oh, we have in the live motherfucking chat right now. The Walking David says, big fan of you, Nick. Hart. I don't like it.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
I don't like history, but if Phil says it's good, it's good. Uncle D says, hey, Phil. Oh my God, long time. I love history buffs. What a great time to tune back in. We said someone else says, I love history buffs. So lots of love going for you in the live chat.
That's really sweet.
In what you said, you mentioned something else. You mentioned spill.com, which is how I initially first heard you. You were part of part of Spill called the Loading Bar. If people don't know what Spill was, there's a few sites that have come out after it. Rage Select, One of Us, and Double Toasted are all spiritual successors to Spill. But basically, it was a lot of really talented people covering a lot of different types of media, whether it be comic books, movies, or the prime thing. But when they started bringing in video games, they created something called the Loading Bar with yourself, Jeff, Corey was in that as well, and a couple of other folks as well, Jason. And how did you come to be involved with Spill and the Loading Bar?
Complete accident, pretty much. Well, I remember that when Spill.com, when I first heard of Spill.com, they hadn't reached 10,000 members yet, and Corey used to go on Blog Talk Radio, and he announced that if they reached 10,000 members, then they would hold like a special celebration party in Austin, Texas. And I decided to give it a chance on one of his Blog Talk radios, where he often said that he goes to London quite a bit to see his cousin. So I got a chance to speak with him, and I said, listen, you guys had a Spill party in Austin. How about I organize one in London the next time we're over? And he's like, oh, okay, sure. I don't think he thought I was being really serious, but I was. So I put something together for like a hangout in Camden Town, and then he came, and like 20 other people turned up, and then he said, oh, this was a lot of fun. Let's do it again. And then the next year, I threw another party when he came up to London, and even more people came up. But eventually came to a point where, like, I don't know, a couple of hundred people started coming to these things. So I became close friends with Corey that way. And then I also started coming to Austin, Texas to meet the rest of the Spill crew. And it just came to a point where, like, I remember the day, like, he was doing a Let's Do This with co-host.
Co-host, yep.
Yeah. And I hadn't listened to it yet, but I had like a whole bunch of emails sent to me saying, oh, congratulations. And I'd be like, for what? For the new job. I'm like, what new job? It's like, listen to the Let's Do This. And I listened to it, and then Corey's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a video game show. I think maybe I should ask Nick. He plays video games, I think. And then I phoned him. I said, what's this all about, this video game thing? It's like, oh yeah, I forgot to ask you. Do you want to do it? It's just like, oh great, everyone else knows about it but me.
So and if anyone hasn't heard Let's Do It, that was one of my two favorite aspects of Spill was Let's Do It, and the Loading Bar that you ended up becoming a part of after that. You became a big part of the Loading Bar, and also with Jason and Jeff. Jeff, yes. who still runs Rage Select on YouTube. If people haven't checked out Rage Select, I highly recommend tuning into that. Nick's on there occasionally as well, with some doing some podcasting with Jeff, and you two have awesome chemistry. And Jeff seems like one of the nicest, funniest individuals on the fucking face of the planet. How did you start to get close with Jeff? Is it just the process of doing the Loading Bar got you closer and closer with Jeff?
Well, like we were hanging out like when I was coming over to Austin. So like, I was cool with Jason. I mean, the thing about Jason Murphy is like he took the piss out of me a lot on the show. But as soon as that microphone was off, he was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry about that. You know, I really like you and all that stuff." So, but it was whenever I came over to Austin, Jeff was the one who'd give me a call saying, "Hey, dude, I feel like having a beer. You want to hang out?" And I'm like, "Okay, absolutely, let's do that." And he would show me around Austin.
Oh, awesome.
So, and the great thing is that when it all ended, Jeff was the one who contacted me and asked if I could come on his show, because he knew that I wanted to get back into the game, but I had an idea of what to do then. And then after a while, when I said to him about the loading bar as an idea, he said, "You should absolutely do it." And he said that he would promote the channel when it was just in its infancy. So that's how we continue to stay friends to this day.
Awesome. And there's actually a podcast on the loading bar on Rage Select that you can check out, which is very early on. It's kind of funny to hear. We're thinking about what's happened with your channel and everything like that, and we'll get into the growth of your channel. But it's listening to that podcast when you first started out. You were saying, "I just started to do this thing called History Buffs," and it's actually a funny listen to if people want to check that out. So yeah, definitely check out Rage Select if you haven't. I have the website up on the screen right now. Dirty Issues in the live chat says, Hey, Jesse. Hey to you, my friend. Gary says, by the way, Professor Jeff is on Rage Select right now, and love the loading bar with Professor Jeff. Hey, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out his channel. I mean, at his channel and his website.
Yeah, please do. He is. If you're into video game content and stuff like that, it's one of the best sites out there to check out. And if you are a fan of the loading bar and you haven't heard and you're wondering what happened, definitely go out. Please subscribe to Rage Select. Walking David says, "Good thing I'm not a guest host in this. I'm a fan. I'd fangirl too much over Nick." Rick Grimes loves me some Nick. Walking David, feel free to leave a voicemail 781-990-8509 if you have some if you want to do some Rick Grimes love for Nick, or if anyone else has any questions or comments they want to lead, we'll play all those voicemails and ask some questions at the end of this. And so if you want to show your love to Nick, definitely leave a voicemail. Brendan, Brendan Davis says, "Any chance of getting a History Buffs episode on historic shows in a mini-series like I, Claudius or something like that?"
Yeah, the funny thing is I actually have I, Claudius on DVD. I'm looking at it on my shelf right now, and I just haven't had the time to watch it. But I have had I've got like a list of a whole bunch of stuff that I would do that people requesting. So I'll get to it eventually.
It's funny, Nick. I'd have a lot more questions for you, but the majority of the questions that I have for you is, when is Nick doing this movie? When is Nick doing this movie? When is Nick doing Saving Private Ryan? I must have done a thousand times.
That is like the majority of the comments on my channel. It's actually quite funny. My mom gets kind of annoyed because she's like, "Why are they talking about the review? They're just asking you to do other stuff. They don't say whether they like it or not."
And speaking of someone on the Vikings set, we have Eric Nolan, who is an extra on the Vikings set. Another live stream your time. Eric, Nick does the Vikings. We'll get into that later, but does the official History Channel Vikings podcast. Yes, me with the mustache. I have a porn stash. A bug crawled up under my nose and just like stayed there. So I have a porn mustache right now. So let's go to our next thought. Okay, with Spill and Rage. So do you still have a lot of time with everything to do any gaming right now, or are you sort of out of the gaming loop?
I am so out of the gaming loop, and I love the fact that Jeff continues to have me on the loading bar. But like sometimes I feel like I'm like a fifth leg or something, because I don't play games as much as I used to. My time is really just spent watching documentaries, reading books, and writing for my next review. So all I know is just like history stuff.
Now, is that something that is it something that you would like to get back into when you have more time, or are you sort of past that point of being way into video games, you think?
Well, I mean, like not gaming in general, I probably won't be back into that, but there are specific games that I really do like. For example, I just can't wait for Mass Effect Andromeda. So when that comes out, I'm sure a lot of fans are going to be annoyed that I take 48 hours from writing my next script just to play Mass Effect.
What we need to do is find you a really good, or they need to make a really good history video game to make you, so you can do sort of like a combination review of the historical accuracy of a video game of sorts. So that,
that'll probably be really really unfair if I was to do it like that, because they'd be like, dude, we want to make the game fun.
Yeah, it's not exactly. You'd be like, this part is it's fun, but it's not very historically accurate the way that the Al Capone pulled out a submachine gun. It's just not very accurate there. Eric Nolan says, hey Nick, heard your interview with Katie and Louise. I'll tell them you said hi, smiley face. By the way,
thanks, Eric. The Katie's awesome. Like, she's a really nice girl. Pretty kick-ass. She's one of the shield maidens on the Vikings.
And then Gary says, oh, by the way, the puppets that Jeff and Jason are back on Rage Select. They're excited about that. Dirty says, has Nick ever done a History Buffs on Uncharted 4 in the real-life Captain Avery? All stuff that probably would go to the list. Love the Lawrence of Arabia episode. I was just watching the Vikings recap and this popped up. Hey, DJ11. Thank you to everyone that's popping in the live chat to join Nick and I this afternoon. So, okay. Awesome. So how did you get started with History Buffs? We kind of talked about that and how you got the idea originally. So what was your very first History Buffs review? When you everything together, what was the first one that you did?
The first one I did was Zulu, and I think I spent like a year on just making it, because like what you see on my YouTube channel is like the third version. Like originally I was going to do it with another person, so kind of like in the same format of what we're doing now, or what I used to do back in the loading bar, was just two guys sort of going off on each other, going back and forth, talking about what they liked in the movie. And I just didn't think it worked, because the other guy wasn't as knowledgeable about the subject as I was, and it was too chaotic. Yeah. So then I thought about doing it nostalgic critic style, where I just have like a vlog or something like that. And then I found out that I'm not exactly camera friendly, so that wasn't probably a good idea. So I thought, like, what if I tried to do some animation that might at least grab people's attention? So, and the reason I chose Zulu is just because it's one of my childhood classics. I absolutely love that film. I put it up there with Dances with Wolves or Lawrence of Arabia. So yeah, can't get enough of it.
And you decided to go the animation route, having had some animation experience being in the loading bar, which was, you guys were animated there, and the animation just feels very comfortable to seeing of a way of presenting it. Now you have a team that does the animation. You record the reviews and send it out to them, and they animate to your review. Is that how the process works?
Well, no. I wish I had a fucking team. Like, all I have is like a good friend of mine called Luke Hagen, who is the editor on the show. And I had another guy who animated the intro, the original intro and the new intro, and he drew up a whole bunch of stills of me in different positions. And then I took those pieces of character art and asked my editor if he could use some flash animation to basically move them around like a puppet. So
we just got to the second most asked question or comment on your videos. Fuck you, what happened to the original intro? Fuck you, I hate the original intro, give me the new intro. The whole intro, you had a very long something you would see on Masterpiece Theater kind of intro leading into it, and you eventually changed that intro to make it kind of faster and quicker into it. Was that the thought pattern behind changing the intro?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was really sad to see that intro go, because I came up with the idea for the intro before I came up with the idea for the show, because I think I was at a special mansion house in London called Kenwood House, and there are all these beautiful paintings and stuff like that. And I just was thinking about the painting from Waterloo, the Scots Grey Charge. And then I thought about the movie. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be fucking awesome if you saw the painting and then it just came to life and was that bit from the movie. So that's how the show came to be. But then eventually, when I started using the intro, I just got a ton of like hate from people saying, it's too fucking long. What is this? I just want a YouTube video. Just your name. Here we go. Done. Okay. And I was like, all right, fine. And then I also had to consider about the copyright thing, because a lot of my videos, they are under fair use, and it can be argued they're under fair use. That intro is 100% not in fair use, because I'm using clips from different movies and stuff. So yeah, you can't exactly argue that.
Now
I was
gonna say that you had to deal with a little bit of copyright stuff with your movies and prove that your stuff was fair use. So you don't even want to fuck around with that stuff even a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, I always have problems with the copyright. Every time I upload a video, it takes like about 30 days or more for it to clear the copyright. Which is always very scary when that happens, but nothing's happened to me yet, and so I've been following the rules as best I can. So
No, I'm knocking on some wood for you. A live chat to salute Phil and salute to DJ for the tip on this cast, to Johnny the Irish Wildling in the live chat. I got Mass Effects and Hurons on PS4 order. Daenerys Targaryen will make Westeros great again. Sorry, I'm just reading the live, jumping into the live chat for a second. Okay, so ultimately, with all of that, you started putting your videos together, changing things up. And I wanted to mention as well that you said with the two people talking, that kind of changed into, you also have another thing that are on your channel, a few History Buffs podcast, which is more you talking with other people back and forth about topics and stuff like that. So that sort of became, instead of that, which was initially the video idea, sort of shifted over to, you were like, oh, I can do podcasts too. And is that sort of what happened with it?
Well, I thought I would give it a try because I had experience with the whole podcast thing, but then I don't think I was ever really good at the whole podcasting thing. Just talking off the top of my head, I'm much better when I write it all down and plan it ahead of time. And mainly the people just wanted to see the review, so I thought like it might be better just to focus on that.
Yeah,
to give everyone what they want. So yeah.
And I meant to make this comment when I looked to the live chat a second ago. I was because Brooke Blackman says #fuck copyrights, and people are always bitching about intros. People are always bitching about intros. It's one of those things that there's a school of thought. You have an old school, and even in television and movies and everything. I think intros is a quick thing to kind of go to, and especially with the binge watch nature of the way we watch television and media.
Yeah.
So you watch that intro a billion times over. So a show like that, any show that has those long intros, even the great ones like Game of Thrones or Westworld or whatever, after watching it a couple of times, you're like, okay, let me just skip ahead. Let me fast forward this. So
I don't know, man. I actually like watching the intro. Like one of my favorite intros of all time was in The Sopranos. I have never, ever fast forwarded the intro to Sopranos. It just gets me pumped up, you know?
For some reason, every time I listen to that, I don't understand. I mean, I guess I get it. I always have to light up a cigar or something, or hippie activities, or whatever. When that song comes on, I have to light something and smoke. I'm compelled. The power of smoking compels me. But I guess I agree with you. There's certain ones that I watch all the time. Oz is another one. There's something about that theme song and the congas and the hand percussion that gets me. House of Cards is one I watch. Daredevil, I watch those. I find them very, very interesting. So are we copywriting Phil for his outro and intro? Johnny, I play my own music, my own crappy old rock band's music at the beginning and ends of my shows, not because I want to make you guys have to listen to my crappy music, simply so I don't have to deal with the copyright bullshit at all. Literally, if I play 2 seconds of Veruca Salt going, I want in that all, mummy, I end up getting tagged for it now. It's on an all-time crazy level. And because I do live streaming all the time, I don't fight it because, as Johnny knows, who has a channel as well, and he got he fought it, and for a while you can't do streaming if just from fighting the copyright. So it is a big kind of fuck system. And Nick did put out some content on that, talking about his situation, and it was I was actually very, very fearful for you. That was a very honest video that you put out with your response to what had happened to your channel, and there was you could feel the fear in your voice from that.
I was really worried. Although Carmine took the piss out of me afterwards, and he was like, "Don't you think you like overreacted a little bit?" It's like, "Oh, fuck you, man. I've been a YouTuber for very long, so this is all kind of new to me."
No, and it's like the bigger you get and the more time you spent around building your subscriber base, the more you have to risk on it. I mean, you mentioned Nostalgia Critic earlier. He puts out a lot of great content talking about that and railing against that, and he's really at the front lines of those fights and stuff like that. So it is a real thing, and it's hard when you spend like so much time building a channel up, and whether you have 100 subscribers or 200,000 plus like you do or something like that, you spend all this time and energy to do it, to just be told, fuck you, it's all gone. I mean, it can be a very scary, daunting kind of feeling.
Absolutely. Like every time I upload a video, I kind of get a little bit worried. Sometimes the copyright claims are bogus. Like I had some ones for my little interviews I did where I just used pictures from the show. I thought that was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, they're flagging for pictures now. More and more people are getting like flagged for pictures now, which is quite ridiculous to me too. And then there's just no rhyme or reason to it. Some things don't get flagged, or some channels don't get flagged for putting trailers in the beginning of the channel. Some do. There's no quite rhyme or reason to it. Magically Delicious in the live chat says, I'm reading about the foundation of the Han Dynasty. Those were some sneaky and treacherous motherfuckers. Critch says, the intro to The Sopranos reminds me of the trips to New Jersey airport from New York City. My nose curls up and I remember something that smells worse than New York City. Good old Derek. Okay. So you're doing a lot of videos. You're making a couple of your initial ones. You were getting a decent response on it. I remember around that time, I think when you and me first interacted from I want to say you only had like 5,000, 6,000 subscribers or something like that. What was the review that, and at this point you have, was it 270,000 at this point or something?
It's something like that.
I'll make you humble brag a little bit here. So but what video sort of changed things for you, and what was the process of your channel basically exploding? Could you talk a little bit about that?
I think it's actually two videos. One was my video on Vikings, actually, funny enough, and I think it's because it was a show everybody was looking forward to, and there was a lot of interest in it. And I also thought about doing it because I saw some Vikings videos which were just making predictions based on nothing but personal interpretation.
Yeah, like television tea leaf, right? Like, I think Ragnar's never gonna make it out of this season or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were approaching it like it was a Game of Thrones episode, and I'm just like, guys, it's based on mythology and history. You don't need to fucking interpret shit. Just open up a book and then find out what happens to the characters there. So I thought it'd be cruel if I actually attacked anyone's channel directly. Something like, instead I'll just dish out the information there. So it was that video, and that gained some attention. Randomly, it was Waterloo. I did the video Waterloo afterwards, and amazingly, that went viral on Reddit, and a lot of people I've never seen this Waterloo movie. This is awesome, and I just couldn't believe it because I grew up with Waterloo. I watched it the same as I watched Lawrence of Arabia or Zulu. I just thought it was a given. And a lot of Americans hadn't seen it before. So,
and I had thought it was maybe that, and you also did a video around that time, Game of Thrones, why Game of Thrones is like a history book, that kind of took off a little bit as well. And it really was that Reddit stuff. They shared it on Reddit. If you want to watch kind of Nick's whole process, you can check it out on his channel. There's a video where he has a 10,000 subscriber celebration, and then it's the next week he has a 25,000 or whatever, and then the next week it's him reaching 100,000. So if I'll brag for him. It was an amazing process to watch it happen. A lot of people think YouTube channels can't explode and go crazy like that. Reddit really did push you in a lot of ways. You were at the front page of the history subreddit for a while, and it just kind of made your channel go crazy. And honestly, having been into the hard work you put into your videos, it's awesome that happened. It was a lot of luck, a lot of just good things connecting the dots at the right time, and this is where I'm gonna get on my knees and lick your balls again. I'm very happy for you. If you look at your whole process from the loading bar into Rage Select and trying to find your own thing, it's awesome that you did. I know there's no real response to this other than, Phil, go fuck yourself. I told you before the show, if there are moments when you wanted me to tell me to go fuck myself, this might be
you kept repeating it over and over again. The situation hasn't arisen yet.
So I'm trying to do it right here by complimenting you too much.
Yeah. No, I'm very grateful to the people who shared it on Reddit. It's like you changed my life, is all I could say, and the feedback has been amazing and really heartwarming. So yeah.
So out of all your reviews that you've done so far, do you and don't give me the all my kids are fucking beautiful ones, or all fuck you. So what are your favorite reviews that you've done so far? Which ones stand out to you, or the ones that you had the most fun while making them?
That's a good question, actually. I think my favorite ones would be Goodfellas, and then Amadeus, just because I had a blast researching about classical music and listening about classical music. I'm not exactly when it comes to classical music, I like it, but I'm not playing on my iPhone when I go out. But it was just like a solid month of writing and just pumping out non-stop Mozart's and Salieri's music, which I thought was pretty awesome. And then what was the fuck? I can't remember.
You said Goodfellas.
It was good. It was Goodfellas, but there was a Master and Commander. Yeah, that was really fun. But I definitely say Goodfellas was the funnest one, just because it was so completely different from what I'd done before, and I thought I made a couple of good jokes.
No, it was. Plus, I think with those two movies, I mean, I know you have ones that are your favorite. You mentioned a couple that you were into when you were younger that kind of inspired to doing this.
Yeah.
I think those are two of the best movies of all time, too, if you really look at them. If you look at Amadeus and Goodfellas, two just such iconic movies. Anytime you get a chance to look deeply into a Scorsese film, it's like, oh, poor Nick, poor me. Oh, what are you doing for work today? Oh, I have to watch scenes from a fucking amazing Scorsese film. Poor fucking me. People in the live chat calling me Magnum PI for my stash, and Uncle D says, Nick's stuff on Game of Thrones caught my eye, and then I became a fan after seeing all his other content. Great fucking work.
Thanks, man.
A couple of other people in the live chat saying never saw your channel, but because of this shit, I'm gonna go check it out right now. So thank you to everyone in the live chat for jumping on in, and thank you to everyone that goes over and checks out Nick's channel. So okay, so you mentioned this in another place, so I feel like I can ask you this. What's the next review that's coming on History Channel? Second time I've done that. History Buffs.
Yeah.
What's the next?
History Buffs. Yeah. Well, I'm actually working on Dances with Wolves right now, and that's actually taking me a lot longer than I was hoping to. I had a plan to write it in a specific way, and then I just ended up writing more and more and more because I wanted to, cover the film, but then I thought it might be interesting just to cover the history of the Sioux a little bit, more, and then that sort of steamroll from there. And then, of course, this this whole Dakota Access Pipeline stuff started going on, and a lot of what's going on today is tied up to the treaties they had signed back in 1851. And that treaty also has ties to when the movie takes place. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I'm nearly finished with it. So, yeah.
Oh, and I can't wait to that. And I also, just from the acting standpoint, I think Kevin Costner is one of those guys that, because of some of his more bland work that he's done at certain points in time, it's easy to overlook the great work he did in movies like Dances with Wolves, The Untouchables. There's other stuff I could start mentioning, but those are two of my favorite of just performances by Kevin Costner, and when he really was making his bones, so to speak. And this probably is his opus or whatever. This is Kevin Costner at his best, showing you everything that's great about him as an actor. So it's one of my favorite movies. So I actually cannot wait for this particular review.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he did for some reason, it's like he's a totally different actor in Dances with Wolves as opposed to some of his later work.
Do you think it's people motivating him? Because I think maybe someone like him, once he got a little bit too much control in his own mind. Because I think almost George Lucas, not the crap in the prequels here, I'm not using stuff, but sometimes when people are in a echo chamber and they don't hear people really pushing them to do more and more, I think maybe that was a problem. Maybe it had a lot to do with the director.
I totally agree. I mean, I think about something David Bowie once said. I can't remember the exact quotes, so I'm just paraphrasing here, but he said, you should always be uncomfortable when you work. If you're tense and it's just about how your piece of work is going to come out, then you'll always grow. When you start being content, that's when your work suffers. And I think it's kind of true.
It is true. And I mean, John Lennon has a similar quote when talking about Paul McCartney, saying when he first met Paul, he's like, should I get a guy as good as me that's militant with everything? Should I just get someone that I can be better than? And it's good to have someone that's as good as you to challenge you. And sometimes that competition, sometimes just having someone like, this putting me on a music rant, but having someone like George Martin to oversee the four of them. That's why Abbey Road's a great album, but Let It Be isn't necessarily, because they didn't have that force of nature kind of guiding them, telling you when to say no. And I mean, some people do work good with having endless control, someone like Prince maybe, or someone like Bowie, but they probably always had that person in the studio, that producer or someone that they trusted, a best friend or something, just to call you out on your shit, whether it's Stephanie for me, maybe like you mentioned your mom, but somebody that you know won't bullshit you, to just call you on your shit when you need to be called on your shit. And I think that's one of the greatest things as any creator you can have.
Yeah.
So, okay. So from doing all your reviews and doing everything, I'm flashing some images on screen right now while I'm talking.
Oh God, which ones?
Talking. I've some of them are the pictures of the website, like your page and stuff like that. But there are some of the pictures that were on your Facebook page of you with the Vikings members. Yeah. Right now, the ones on screen is you with Bjorn. And yes, I know you know them by their real names. I'm going to be calling them by their character names.
That's fine.
just because. Here's you with Helga. Here's you with Floki. Those are the three pictures that I have. So how did History Channel, if people don't know, Nick is the host of the History Channel Vikings official podcast. Now, how the hell did that happen? There is a video on Nick's channel where he talks about all of this, but I'm going to make him retell it. So Nick, could you tell a little bit about how the whole History Channel came about?
Well, they messaged me through my YouTube page, and they said, would I be interested in doing a podcast for Vikings? And the thing is that the email wasn't watermarked with the History Channel logo or like anything else apart from that. It was just saying like A&E Networks. And I was like, okay, let's see if I could come back to it. And then he said, then the guy said who he was, and then I Googled his name. And then I found like, oh shit, he really does work for the History Channel. Sorry, it's not. They've been trying to make me call it History, not History Channel. Oh, okay. They're trying to be like all Fine Brothers about it, you know, with reacts and stuff. So yeah,
everyone's rebranding. I'm gonna go a step too far, like I always do. Even hepatitis is shortening itself to Hep C now. It's not just hepatitis; it's Hep C. You know, everything has to have a short, cute nickname these days. So
exactly.
So history.
Yes, so they got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted to do the podcast, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, it sounds like fun. I thought they meant like doing the podcasts in London, like they would hire out some office somewhere, and then I would go and record there. And then they were like, no, we actually want to fly you out to Ireland and meet the cast and crew and interview them there. And I was like, holy fucking shit! Yeah. I was like buzzing all day long. That was like. I was so happy about that because I really do love the show. And yeah. Then a few short days later, they got me onto a plane and I went to Dublin. And so this unfortunately,
this all happened. I'm sorry, this all happened in a couple of day period of time. This was fuck, dude. You get those spam you get what you think could be a spam message on fucking YouTube.
Exactly. Yes, I thought it was a spam message originally. So yeah.
and then within basically a week or so, you were on a plane on your way flying to the Viking set.
Yes. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, I know. I felt like incredibly lucky. I was having an absolute blast. But it was, unfortunately, it was at the end of season 4 that I was coming in, because they originally were going to do another podcast with someone else, and then it didn't work out with them for whatever reason. And they found my YouTube video where I was reviewing I was making predictions about the show, and at times mocking it. You know?
Especially with the costume. Yeah, there was a part of that where you were mocking the costume, couple other moments. Yeah, you didn't hold back. You gave it the history buffs thing, basically.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, exactly. And yeah, so then I got onto the set, and I got to walk around Kattegat. I got to go see
fucking fuck.
Yeah, I got to go to some of the other sets. Actually, I could talk about it now, I suppose. They had the Moorish set up, they shot in Spain. Yep. So I was like, holy fucking shit, I was right. And I can't say shit. I can't tell anyone about what I just saw.
Did they make you sign like confidentiality stuff for what you were going to say?
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
They did at the time. Yeah,
of course.
And but it was just like a really super awesome. So I don't know what else to kind of say about that.
What were some of your coming into the situation, like when you were first flying in, getting ready? What were the things what inside yourself were you most excited to see? Like inside your mind, what were you like, holy fuck, I'm gonna see X? Was there one thing?
Yeah, actually, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't seeing the actors. I mean, I was looking forward to meeting them, but I was looking forward to getting to Kattegat.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to going to the French court. So the French court is like this one giant interior set, and just walking around on these, fake marble floors. You see parchments everywhere, and you see like the Roman murals. I also went to Eckbert's little villa with the Roman bath and stuff. And I was like, holy shit, this is where Athelstan and Eckbert had the conversation about the Romans. So I was just geeking out over that. And then probably one of the biggest moments was when I got to go onto a longship.
Oh, dude, you fucking fuck. And I mean this in the best possible. Fuck you, dude. You're so fucking awesome. Fuck you. Fucking asshole. People say we love Nick. Heard Nick on the Midnight Chat Attack. Fucking love Nick. Emma Watson seems like a perfect fit for. Oh no, sorry. Historically, the backgrounds of Zulu and Custer's Last Stand are amazingly similar. Says Cringe in the live chat.
I mentioned that in the review. I'm going to be writing. I've already written that part down.
Awesome. No, totally fucking great. Okay, so you're on the fucking set of Vikings. You're walking through Kattegat. You get to talk to all the actors. I'm showing you different pictures of that. I don't want to talk too much about this because I'll freak out and want to touch you. You got to meet Lagatha, which is amazing. I'd love to just look at her from afar, and I'm sure she was fucking lovely. We got. I'm showing you a picture of you.
I'll be honest with you. Let me just say one thing. Like when I first flew into Dublin, they told me that the first person I'll be interviewing was Lagatha, so the actress Catherine Winnick, and I was going to be interviewing her the next day. So like I'll get to arrive in Dublin, go to the hotel, sort of relax for a bit, and then I land in Dublin. And they're like, change of plan. She wants to interview you in like an hour or two. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And I hadn't like prepared my questions properly ahead of time like I would do. So I quickly get changed. I didn't even have time to write the questions. I was writing the questions in the car over to her house, and then my heart was just going like a jackhammer. It's like da-dum, 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 da-dum. And then she opened the door and invited me in, and we spoke about the show. And I kind of went on autopilot, like I had like an out of body experience, because it was the most terrifying experience of my life.
I'm having an out of body experience too, because you're basically describing my fantasy where I show up in a door and she invites me in, where she goes, Phil, why don't you come in here? So no, but that's real.
Well, like I'll be honest with you, I felt like I had bullshitted my way onto the Viking set, because I'm on the way over. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I never studied journalism. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've never done this before. Why am I here?
I'm a fraud. What the fuck?
I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos. What the fuck am I doing here?
I used to play video games. Now I'm fucking talking to Laga. What the shit what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Question answer. I haven't been able to find the history podcast for Vikings since episode 15. Are they in a different location right now? Asks Timo.
Okay. So there's some problems going on in production involving those podcasts. So there's been a bit of a delay with pushing forwards, as they asked us to stop, frustratingly. But we will be continuing later at some point, and we'll have all the rest of the podcasts. But on a good note, history. What's the word? I presented an idea to history about what if I took the best of the interviews that I've done so far for all of season 4 and then make them into a special History Buffs video. And so where I could actually go over some of the predictions I made in my season 4 video, and then just have the actors actually talk about it, So even if we don't continue the episodes from 15 onwards to episode 20, we will have a good chunk of all the best interviews on this History Buffs episode.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's good. That is good to know. And also, just in line with that question, out of all the moments that you shared with, and Timo says, "Oh my God, that's a great idea." Out of all the people that you got a chance to talk to, all the interviews you had with different members of the cast, which one were you most coming out of it? Which one was the most exciting? And I know it's hard to pick one if some of them were more fun. Which one did you feel like you had the most connection with the actor, I guess is the best question.
I think Gustav Skarsgård was really he's the guy who plays Floki.
Yep, I have a picture. I have the picture of you and him on screen right now.
Yeah, he was really awesome. Like, he was currently shooting a scene at the time. He was shooting the scene where they had just attacked Eckbert's, villa. No. He was having a meeting with Bjorn and the rest of the other actors, including Alex Hock and Mark Ilso, who plays Bitzerk and Ivan. They were in the little house, and then he managed to come up for about. It was supposed to be like a 15-minute interview. We're talking for 40 minutes or something.
Awesome.
Yeah. So he's really cool. He's a really approachable guy. I really like him a lot. Eckbert, actually, Linus Roach, the actor who plays him, he's super awesome. And I just said to him ahead of time, listen, if I screw up on a question, just, I'm just going to turn over to my aide and she's going to, remind me what the question was. And he's like, that's absolutely all right. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Win-win. Yeah. You're in a great position there. So on your channel, also on History Buffs, you can see there's a couple of clips of some of the interviews. He has you can check that out on his channel, some videos over there. And also you have an interview with Michael Hurst, the creator. And Carmine, I have a question from Carmine, who says there was something you talked to him about he gave some hints or some within reason here, don't say anything that's going to, something about the end of the series. Is that something you can share with us?
Yes, I can. Well, I basically said to him, well, we know that the show is going to be focused on the sagas of Ragnar and Ragnar's sons. And I said to him, you have a wealth of incredible things achieved by the Vikings under a long period of time. How far is this show going to go? Where do you see it going? And then he describes that he eventually, hopefully within reason, if the show continues to be successful, that they will end it when the Vikings land in North America.
Fuck.
And he was describing the scene to me. So it's so I could just imagine that the longships arrive on the shores, a mist clears, and then you see Native Americans on the beaches. And I was like, and then what happens? He's like, oh, that's it. I'm like, what?
Fuck yeah, what more? Give me more.
My first reaction, I literally said that in the interview, what? Come on, man. Are you fucking serious?
You bastard.
I thought I was being all professional throughout the entire thing, except for that one moment where I was just fan geeking out. Come on, man! I want to see
Was that out of all the moments on set? Was that your biggest fan geek kind of moment where you just kind of lost the guise of being a reporter at all? Did you turn into a fan at that moment? Was that the only time, or was it connected to a question Timo asked that you kind of already answered?
Yeah, there was quite a few moments where I sort of just geeked out. I mean, I was also happy just to be asking Michael about little pet peeves I have when it comes to historical fiction, which is when the characters have 21st century morals. It just drives me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and my co-host talks about that a lot as well when we're analyzing their decisions that they make as characters. And that's an interesting question as creating shows today about historical stuff. How much should that be relevant, or should it just not be relevant at all?
Well, he said that he shared my pet peeve, and actually it was quite interesting. Once I asked him that question, we weren't talking about Vikings anymore. He was just very close to slagging off a lot of other filmmakers and writers that he has disagreements with on how you do historical fiction. So that was very interesting to share that with him.
Now, similar topic. You mentioned this before in passing, but Timo asked, what was it like seeing the Viking ships? Were you ever able to take a ride on one? Yes, he fucking was. But
yeah.
What was it like? What was it like seeing the Viking ships, Nick?
No, I got to go on one when it was docked. So I couldn't actually go out into the water, but I was there with with the Marine coordinator. I think that's what he's called. And I was asking him like a whole millions of different questions, like how closely is this a replication of a real longship? And he's like, I mean, apart from a few modern bolts here and there, the design is exactly the same. And I was like, could this actually sail out into the open ocean? And he said, well, we have in season 1 we had to use sails and all of that stuff, and then as the show's progressed they've had to resort to putting little motorboat engines on the side of the ship. But it was absolutely seaworthy.
Now
so yeah,
so you're saying
that was really awesome.
You're saying motorboat. I'm thinking about Lagatha again. Yes, it's probably. Timo says, yeah, that was probably my favorite interview you've done so far, Nick. The one with Michael. And we got.
There was also another cool thing, like because I came back to Ireland twice. So first time was for season 4A, and then for season 4B. And I had a feeling that maybe for season 4B that might be the last time I'll be coming over. I mean, I always assume it's the last time, but I was just like, listen, we have all day before we interview the next person, who is oh shit, I'm blanking on her name now. She plays the slave girl that all the boys are, you know.
Oh yeah, I don't know her name though. But
yeah, she was really sweet. I really liked her.
Yidu's wife.
Whose wife?
Udi's wife, or Ubi's wife.
Ube's wife.
Ube's wife.
Yes, that's it. So I was kind of like, can I dress up in the costume? And they're like, sure. Why? Because I could promote the show better.
Yes.
Which is absolute fucking bullshit. So, and I happened to be there with my girlfriend at the time, and she's a massive fan of the show too. So I was like, okay, we dress her up as a shield base, and I look like the skinniest fucking Viking in history. So, and then I got to go onto Kattegat and take like a million different pictures. And my girlfriend's the only professional one there. She's like, can we hurry this up, please? We've got to prepare our questions like in a minute.
And I got to give you some immediate responses from the live chat. Timo and Amy both say, out of this intense jealousy, I really want to hate you, Nick, but that damn British accent won't let me do so.
Oh, thanks, mate.
So you mentioned in passing there, will you be back for season 5, or is it too early to tell about that? Will you be continuing doing the Vikings podcast into season 5, or you can't talk about that, or too early to tell?
I don't know, honestly, because unfortunately, whilst I was doing season 4B, YouTube had that algorithm change recently.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and that really hurt my channel whilst I was away, and so I'm thinking that it might be possible that I have to just stick around and focus on the channel, you know, for a little bit.
So now which is good. And leading into that, just as Vikings as a fan, what did you think of season 4 as a whole? And specifically, this goes to a question that I actually found on your Facebook page. That I thought was a good question. I'd really like to hear what Nick thinks about the Viking season finale, the last scene when the scene of the brothers felt wrong, according to what I know about Viking history.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what he's talking about, because I remember that they were giving me episodes of the show to watch beforehand in order to prepare for my questions. And then I see the scene where the last episode's aired, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, just a second. I think my mum's returned back into the house. I've got to let the dog. I leave a cliffhanger. Just a second.
Oh, no worries. But everyone, thank you so much. These are the last couple of questions, and then we're going to get into taking a couple. I have a couple of fan questions for Nick.
Sorry. I'm back.
Okay, so here we go.
What was the last thing I was saying?
You asked me if Viking season just ended, and the question was asking about what happened with the brothers.
Yes. Yeah, so I was watching all the episodes beforehand. So then I saw the scene where Sigurd gets killed by Ivar.
Yep, mullet boy gets the axe to the chest. Yep.
And I was like, huh? that didn't happen, you know, in the show. Like, what the? Why did he? Why did that go on? So and all I've heard is really about like rumors on the set about why the character got axed, And all I could say is I think the actor got axed.
It was issues with possible issues, just speculation, possible issues with the actor, not necessarily the character.
Yeah, possible issues with the actor. Maybe like he couldn't commit himself to the show or something else. But like, I think that's the reason why he got killed off. And I think Michael Hurst managed to write it into the story in a way that justifies what's going to happen in season 5,
to remind you of, just from a story character standpoint, to bring back that memory of how unpredictable and quick-tempered Ivar can be. Out of anywhere, just coming out of nowhere. Are there any other, without spoiling or going too far, are there any other little hints or anything you can give us for season 5? If not, just say fuck off, Phil.
Okay, well, it's just a continuation of what I made in my season 4 predictions video. You know, you still got the Great Heathen Army, going on, and the events of the last episode are gonna carry its consequences into the new show.
Pick of Destiny has an inside information about. We have some inside information about actually his hair was too expensive. That's why he got fired. His hair was too expensive. We have it. Oh
god, I really wish I could tell you, because I know what happens at the end of season 5. Just because of like actors sort of talking and stuff.
Well,
like actors talk so much shit. The thing with what's his name, Travis Fimmel.
Yes.
Like how he likes to prank people, and I see like a million different YouTube videos where everyone's saying, Travis, like he's the best at pranking, like he, we can never get him. I was like, well, someone got him, and there's no way that anyone could ever top that. It was, fuck it, I'll tell it. What I mean, like, so apparently, like, whilst they were shooting out on location somewhere, like, one of the things that Travis does as a prank is that he, when they wrap up shooting, he takes a shit in people's toilets in their dressing rooms, and then locks the door, so like it just stinks up over the next few weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he did it all the time. Like he did it like to Bjorn a lot, and then then Bjorn got him back where Travis, like, they're out on location, and then Travis is going to a Portaloo, and then Bjorn fucking rugby tackles it and then pushes it on.
Oh shit!
So he's coming out like heaving and dry, filled up with this blue
shit. That is amazing. That's fucking amazing. I like Travis and Bjorn now 1,000 times more than I did before. But thank you for that insight.
Yeah. There was also Travis tried to get him back, but it was like in a really it was nowhere near the Portaloo story. Was because when I came out to San Diego for Comic-Con to interview the cast while they were doing the Comic-Con panel, and we went to like a party afterwards, and then Bjorn was saying like how when he was on the panel, everyone was having bottles of water and stuff, and Ragnar, he swapped his bottle of water and then just like had straight fucking vodka in it. So there's a part, I don't know if you could see it, where Bjorn is just necking it, and then he has to like stop himself from making it really obvious about it. So anyway, he was just passing around for everyone getting shit faced on the party afterwards.
Oh, that's fucking great. That is fucking great. So so that's done. I'm done with that's for it. That's the questions I have for you, but we do have a few questions and a voicemail to play for you from some fans. One question, this is what I got from Katie, that says, people in the live chat, yes, I shaved. I have a porn mustache now. We had a discussion at the end of my Vikings podcast the other night when it made me want to shave myself into a porn mustache. I was inspired by it. So, and Amy in the live chat says, it's so awesome to hear these stories. I love you even more, Timo, says Nick. Says Timo about Nick. So our first question that we have is from Katie from Philadelphia. She says, please, Nick, please, are there any more Mel Gibson movies you can rip apart? I love listening to you rip apart Mel Gibson movies. Please do anything, even Signs. So is there any way in any fashion we may get you talking about Mel Gibson movies? Because you more than any other of your reviews that get talked about humorously for some of your and I've listened to you for a long time. You don't usually get too like really intensely hating about something where it's so honest and true. The Patriot is a movie you really hate, and some of that Mel Gibson hate definitely twinkles all the with Braveheart too. So, is there any way you'd ever do another Mel Gibson movie?
To be honest, though, I think I've kind of done them all. I mean, like, I don't want to. Like a lot of people have been saying to me, like, Nick, you need to like stop with the Mel Gibson movies because like you're getting too pissed off. And a lot of people were upset with my Apocalypto review for just the dumbest reasons ever. Like they were accusing me of getting my history wrong when I actually had a Mayan archaeologist help me with researching the movie. Like at the very beginning of the review, I show a picture of her and I credit her. And I say, thanks a lot for helping me out. And she's actually been to some of these locations. So she knew everything about the Maya from, the golden age and then from the classic age to the post-classic age. So people were just pissed off because I was slagging off a movie that they liked and that it was Mel Gibson, I guess. Do you
run into that a lot where it's people are on your side, backing you, saying, "Oh, you're awesome, Nick, you're awesome," until you touch upon like a movie that they're personal about? That they go, "Wait a minute, you don't get it." It almost seems like the angry video game nerd or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I had people pissed off with me for my review of I think it was Alexander, and all I said was that it was a boring film. I just said that I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It was just like very meh, and people got really pissed off about that. But then again, I've had people pissed off with me for my Vikings video. They were like saying, "I don't care, you fucking nerd. I love this show. It's awesome." I'm like, well, I'm saying it's awesome too. Did you actually watch the video where I'm praising it throughout? Seriously.
So this is a question from Brendan Davis from Bedrock Games. One of my good friends does amazing work, Bedrock Games. What is your background in history? What periods are you the most interested in? Is there a particular school of history that you subscribe to? And what are some of your favorite historians?
My favorite historical time, I think it would be Romans. As for my experience, I unfortunately didn't study history. Like I went up to right to high school, and then when I was over to sixth form college, they were kind of given the choice of like whether to pursue history, which is a subject I really enjoyed, or pursue film. And I was always really into writing and filmmaking, so I decided to go down that route. And then I don't know, like 10 years later or something like that, I was like, oh, maybe I could come back to history and just use the skills that I picked up when I was in film school and sort of mesh it together.
So this is a question from the live chat. Timo says, have you ever thought about doing a history lesson series, not based from a show or a movie, but just like history, like a Tudor history or something like that, except like just a history lesson of sort? Have you ever thought about
I have, yeah. But I think, I don't think I'm in the right position to do it now, because if I was to do a show like that, I would need stuff to show in it. So if I can't show stuff in the film, then I would need pictures, and it's not enough to take like any picture that you find or such. I think it'd be better to have actual images that are drawn out. So I'm hoping that if the channel grows, then I could be able to hire more people to help me out, like someone just to focus on animation and drawing the entire time, and then I can make more shows that way.
Right. Then you could have someone design a certain presentation or certain aspects, so you could kind of speak to that. And but I agree with you. You need some sort, especially in the medium of YouTube, you'd have to have some sort of very unique or original content or visuals of some sort, so you don't run into any problems and it's just not static, like oh, here is static image of the Roman Empire or something like that, where you really got into you can make it very personalized, your lesson plan, and make it very audio visual. But so definitely subscribe to Nick's channel, keep pushing the channel to grow if you want to see more and more interesting kind of content going on. And finally we have a voicemail for you. I think you should be able to hear hear this okay, but here we go.
Let me take a wild guess who it's from.
No. It isn't from who you think it is. It is.
Okay.
It is from. I don't think he knows. If he knew you were out there, he would definitely leave us a voicemail. But here we go. Let's listen to this. I think this might be from a member of the Walking Dead. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. Who is this?
Nick Hodges.
Hello.
Wait. Sorry. One second. I gotta mess with my audio here a little bit. I'm having some audio issues.
Yeah, you sounded pretty faint.
Yes, he did. Let's see. Let's try this. Let's try this again. So Nick, while I'm trying to fix the audio here.
Yeah.
Play. God damn it.
Walking David.
Okay.
Is this a voicemail? Or is he actually?
Yeah, no, it's a voicemail. It's a voicemail, but I'm having some audio issues right now.
You can hear me.
I can hear you.
If you can,
There.
I just want you to know, you're one of us. Just lay down your weapons, walk through those gates. You're one of us. We need you, Nick, because this is the real world now.
What?
Somebody's got to know our history. And who better than Nick Hodges? All right, I don't want to take up too much time. I'm sure you got other things to do. Write this down.
That was really dramatic.
Yeah, no, that was. I think that was Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead leaving you a voicemail telling you you're the one. You're the one. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't have. I'm sorry. I just didn't recognize it without him saying Coral. Stuff. Thanks.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate you coming here and me getting to probe all the parts of your body and just talk about the whole situation. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come out.
Absolutely, man. I had a fucking blast. It was really fun. Thank you, man.
Yeah. The Walking David who left that, who has a channel here on YouTube as well and does some amazing impressions of Rick Grimes and also of Littlefinger, says sucks that the audio sucked. It's much better than it came across. The audio was crazy. Sorry. I feel like I had to rationalize this. But if anyone hasn't already and from this podcast, please go and check out Nick's channel and give him a subscription and check out some of his videos. And the next video that's coming out is Dances with Wolves. Also mentioned Rage Select earlier today. Check out Rage Select. Nick pops up over there on occasion as well. But Nick, whoa, holy shit, this is a telephone call. Let's see if we can hear this person. Welcome to the show. How's it going tonight? Can you hear me, caller? Okay. I guess not. I
keep waiting for Carmine to fucking call in and then start.
Me too. I expect the motherfucker, and we have to say this again. Lots of love to Carmine, who is the YouTube matchmaker with both of us here. said, "Hey Phil, let me introduce you to Nick."
Oh wait. If I don't fucking mention it now, he's gonna give me some shit later. So like, Carmine is the one who discovered me when I had like 2,000 subscribers or something like that, and he promoted me to come onto his channel and got me noticed. Yep. If I didn't say that part, he would be having a go at me. So Carmine, I apologize.
Yeah, and as I say always, he's one of the people that helped my channel out more than anybody else as well. And Nick, one last thing. Where is that fine line between entertainment and history? Would you rather something be more historically accurate, or would you rather it be more entertaining?
You're right. It is a fine line. I think Apollo 13 is a good example of that fine line, because that film is really, really authentic, really accurate, except for the fact that the actors are screaming at each other in the film, which never happened in real life. And I listened to the real rushes from the Apollo 13 mission, and it's the most boring thing you could possibly imagine, because they're not freaking out. They're completely professional, and the way they're talking is like nothing is going on. Like they're gone to the shop to grab some biscuits or something. So I think Apollo 13 is the perfect example of that fine line.
We got a lot of people in the live chat. Nick, come to Berlin. So much love. Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much, Nick. Hope Phil can have you on again. Hopefully, Nick. Thanks, Nick. Hopefully, FOPs, Friends of Phil, can help your channel keep growing. Thank you. I think you want a vacation, Phil. Stay on the line. Yes. And LT guys in the live chat too. Lots of love to LT. But yeah, Nick, thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to maybe have you on in the future doing an actual episode recap of something.
I would love to. Yeah,
maybe once Game of Thrones season comes around, maybe 1 week you could I could make you watch it on East Coast time somehow or some way or figure out a way, or maybe the next day after have you join us for a feedback show where we take questions about the episode and more centered around a specific show we're talking about. But I'll love to have you on in the future, Nick. So.
Absolutely. I would also like to say, thanks to the chat. You guys have been really nice, and you welcomed me, and you got a good fan base. I really like the community you have.
No, I'm lucky as fuck. I have some of the best motherfuckers in the world in the live chat. So thank you, everyone. Please subscribe to Nick, and if you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share it with a friend. You can, if you have any questions, you can email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. You can tweet me at igotissuesman. You can find Nick at History Buffs London on Twitter, or you can find him on Facebook, History Buffs. And if you just search History Buffs, you'll see all those places. And I have some of the links to that in the description box below. And Broke Black Man, lots of love. Timo says, "Oh my God, the fan girl and me won't be able to handle Nick doing an episode recap." Yeah, exactly. That's why I want to get Nick on a longer form episode. So everyone, have a great day, night. Thank you so much, Nick, one more time, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, bye, guys.